So in this situation, the Pharisees are interrogating these folks. And when the boy confessed, he said, I done told y'all once how he did it. You didn't believe me. I told you twice. You didn't believe it. You even threatened to put me out. And I'm telling you again, my witness is not changing. Now, why you keep asking, do you want to be one of his disciples? Me too. And at that, they begin to, the scripture says, revile him. You were altogether born in sin. Who are you to teach us to understand who we are? So light begins to reveal the hypocrisy of religious systems over against a relationship with God. And that's a tough one. You was altogether born in sin. Who are you? I mean, that would be akin to Carmen got saved, Jesus working in her life, and then she come to Pastor Josh and I and begin to share some things that God has told us or has shown her, and then we sit and we look at her and say, you just got saved. You know, you need to settle down for a little bit, get plugged in, you know, go through all of this stuff, then start talking about Jesus. And then she said, well, no, Pastor, that's not quite right. Then we begin to revile her because, after all, you know, we got the degrees and the robes, as if that impresses God, and it doesn't. It doesn't. It really doesn't. It doesn't. He's happy that we have it, but it doesn't impress him. What impresses God is obedience. Obedience. Obedience and transparency, because whatever is done in the dark is going to come to the light. I don't know who that's for, but it's for somebody. I'm closing for real this time. So this light revealed the hypocrisy of this religious system that they had going on that killed Jesus, I might say. It's always interesting that every time God creates a movement, religious systems want to kill it. Check church history, folks. Nothing new under the sun. The devil ain't got no new tactics. Now, we tend to be ignorant of his wiles, but, you know, because we won't read, but it is what it is. I said, that's why I don't like him. Think he know what he's talking about. That'll hit you on your way home. Last principle, and I'm closing. Then we're going to pray. They put him out. Jesus found him. See, Jesus is always aware of what you're going through. It doesn't matter what you're dealing with. It doesn't matter. Jesus is aware of what you are going through. In the midst of your storm, Jesus is there. In the midst of your challenges, Jesus is there. In the midst of your rejection, Jesus is there. In the midst of your betrayal, Jesus is there. In the midst of folk talking about you, lying on you, and all the other stuff that they do, Jesus is there. And Jesus found the man, and he asked him, do you believe in the Son of God? The man said, who is he, Lord, that I might believe? And Jesus said, he that is talking to you now, I am he. And what did the man do? Very simply, he worshiped. You want to get a worshiping community of faith? Let them get to Jesus. Oh, let me say it again. If you want to see a worshiping community, let them get to Jesus and let Jesus get to them. Now, that might sound strange. Doesn't that sound strange? To let Jesus get to them. In other words, get out of the way and let God be God. Just get out of the way. Sometimes the greatest barrier to God and his people, you figure it out. So Jesus found a man. So Jesus said, for judgment, I'm coming to this world that they which see not might see, and they which see might be made blind. And some of the Pharisees which were with him heard, and they said, are we blind also? Jesus said, well, if you were blind, you wouldn't have any sin. But now you say, we see, therefore your sin remains. So when light comes and people begin to think they see, but they reject the light, it's evidence their sin remains and they're still in darkness. And there's a lot of folk walking around in darkness and don't know. Some, I don't think, care. Then it connects with where Pastor Josh took us last week. This is what prompts Jesus' statement, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, they come up some other way, they're a thief and they're a robber. That's what prompted Jesus' whole discourse on the Good Shepherd. Because the Pharisees and the scribes and all of them, they got it twisted. They thought they were. They were the keepers. I was talking to somebody this week, and we were sharing some things. They asked me about something about credentialing or something. I said, well, who you got your credentials from? I said, God. They looked at me like I lost my mind. God. Yeah, God, you know. The one that sits on the throne. Amen. Amen. See, we got this stuff twisted. We got it all twisted. Who called you? Y'all don't know? Oh, okay. All right, y'all help me out here. God can confirm his work. Jesus is light, and what Jesus wants to do, I'm done. What Jesus wants to do is Jesus wants to work in our lives to correct our erroneous understanding of what is and what isn't the work of God. Number two, he wants to reveal how simple he has made this walk of salvation. It's not tough. It's not difficult. It's a life of faith, right? By grace are you saved through faith, that not of yourself, it's a gift of God. And then he wants to reveal the hypocrisy of religious systems. Don't get caught up thinking that every system is, straightforward. And number four, I love this one. Jesus wants us to understand he is the true shepherd. And if we will follow him, we will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life.